Okay. For this mission control, we talk about what is machine learning. The most common model, the neural network. The gradient design is the implementer, how you improve the model. And the flow, Keras is a high-level tool for you to build the machine learning. Not like the flow actually they give very low-level things. Low-level actually split in C++. So all the low levels they build from tensors, and then layer by layer set up, provide all the APIs. But Keras is a second topic. So can just control the layers of input. They will record all the things for you. Just use API. And Keras is able, and TensorFlow Keras is able to use the Python, read the Python. And then we'll talk about the training model and how you use that one. I think I'll grab a few. If you get time, you can add the machine learning to that.
It's very late.
Yes, it's very late, but if you get time, you can use that one. But it will be a bit difficult. Okay, so what is machine learning? Okay, so the patterns in the number is quite clear, right? So if I ask you, what's the mapping for that number? 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 100 will be 200, right? Or 1 will be 2, 2. And what's the difference between these two data sets? Anyone? Sometimes it doesn't get some noise. Just show like what's the data can that be in the machine learning. So machine learning actually is a kind of way we use for data analysis. So machine learning, simply that one, you let the machine to learn something. And what will it learn? What will the machine learn? So machine learn from the data, right? So from the previous slide, from that one, how can you know like the mapping of 100?
Because it learns
because the time you see the data, you found there are some patterns, there are some mappings, right?
Yeah.
There are some formulas maybe, right? So that is what we want the machine to learn. So we want the machine to find the patterns in the data. That one maybe some patterns is easy to find, we can find them all. So some because some of the patterns is not that easy to find. Right? So based on some rules, some patterns, and it is somehow, if we build the model, it's somehow like a black box. So the whole thing is machine learning, and then we get input, the model gets the input. We train the model, and then model is able to predict the patterns in the data. So that's the a easy explanation for machine learning. And that one need a lot of mathematics and stats. Because sometimes for machine learning, how you input the model, or some of the formulas, the mappings is not linear. It's not like y equal to 2x that easy, right? Some will be very hard, right? And to predict the stored, to predict how recognize the face of human being. Right? You still need some patterns, but the pattern is complicated. And machine learning is not a new technology. Actually, the technology come up for decades, but that was very popular for these 10 years. I guess again.
Now, computing power is.
Yes, that's one part. Another one is because machine learning, if you want to do that one, we need a lot of data. And nowadays, you use a device, you use cell phones, computers, references, we have data from computers. Right, so that one make the machine learning very useful and powerful. And if you want to do something for machine learning, you need some of the key things. First, the data. Data actually is the base of the machine learning. So just now I showed the example, just an easy mapping, right? But if there are many noise in the data, let's say 1 to 2 to 6, 3 to 4, 4 to 10. If the data is very noisy, you cannot find the patterns in there. So the data is very important, and then is the model. So the model is how you can predict how you can find the pattern inside the data. Some models is too simple, some model is too complex, some model cannot. Some model maybe is a linear model, but what they want to predict is a nonlinear mapping. So that one will not work. And also analysis. So after build some model, we try that one, maybe give you a 60% that one will predict things very well, but how to improve that one and how to make the model predict better, like we use. Okay. So we can find a pattern for some simple data. We found a pattern very quick, but for some big data, it's not easy to find by human beings. But how to let the machine to find, how to analysis the model, analysis the data for that one. That's what we need to consider the time we build the machine learning models. Data is the most important, and also models. The time we build the models, we need to consider the identity. The model can be used in general case. Instead of not, because there are so many projects now in the world, there are so many AD companies. Right? It's not like each company should build a model from scratch. It will be complex, right? So there will be some like pre-trained models. You can just spread the model and use for them. And then model should not be trained. They should work with enough data and then they want to get a pattern in a short time. Right? Not for 3 for like 2 years, 3 years, it's years. Okay. And go to the models. For the models, I want to introduce some of the classic models first. So there are some classic models that is in trade. The middle one is the linear forest. That one is the SVM model. So these models just like set the rules for the data. So I use this one for explanation. So for this one, I get something for the after data comes, I get a tab. So tab is a car or SUV, then do other classification. So it's like a logic rule to do classification on it. Others similar, just to like SVM, just use a line to separate the problem. These models are easy to train, and there are some mathematics behind that, but the stats are not that complex. These models works well for some of the cases, but for the complex data, for some of the complex data, they do not work well. Like facial recognition cannot use them. Easily trained to. And then, because the time we see a people like for facial recognition, the time we see a people can see like, oh, this one I know this face. Right? So how we can recognize them? There's some neutrons in our brain. Neutrons in our brain, and then build the network in our brain. And then we see the information from the eyes, and then there's some like processing the brain, and then oh, that's the guy. Right? So we want the machine to simulate the same thing as our brain. So that introduced to the neural network. And because if you see the neutrons, there's some inputs, and then they get their inputs, and the electrons will activate the neutron and then go there and then go to other neutron. Right? So it's an input and pass to other nodes. Right? So we build the similar thing to the network. So we get some input things, you pass through some hidden layers, and each one can consider what's a neutron. The whole thing build a big network. So we want to simulate something in our brain. So build this one. Then the input, do some processing, and then give output. Okay. Neural network actually is big complex, and there are so many neural networks. Each diagram actually is a neural network. But a lot of neural networks, but what we need to use actually for most of people, I guess they just learn 1 or 2 or only a few. I don't think people can learn like all the neural networks, and also even for today, they will still developing new neural networks. Like for instance, for RNN, for SDN, there are modification of the model. But even you see this one is one diagram, that actually there are a lot of subgrams to that. So different neural networks will do different things. And different neural networks will consider different information to be used in the real scenarios. Okay. Next is the gradient descent. Gradient descent is a way to optimize the model. So if you see the neural network, you see there's an input, right? Things pass into the input and then pass into the input, right? But there are some connections here, right? But what should I pass with the connection? That's the original value. Something. We can pass to original value is going to be so complex, right? So we use some weights. So these inputs maybe, let's say, more influence on these nodes, but very less influence on the other nodes. So it's like different weights on the connection. Yes. So the whole thing will be weighted and be fit to the data. And so this one will be weights will make the model works better, but will make the thing more complex because we do not know what weight should be fit for. Right? So you get a model, you see the structure for the model, but what's the weight for that? We need to use the data to train the model. And the time we train the model, we need some way to know how can we get the optimal weights for that model. Right? So that's we get the gradient descent. So what's the logic? What's the intuitive logic for the gradient descent? Gradient descent actually is the whole thing is a loss function. So for the say for a model for data, what do you want to predict? You should have a loss function. That means the way to evaluate it, the way to evaluate a model. So if I want to say I want to recognize the face of the others, so my loss function may be the accuracy. The way I judge the model is accuracy, but the loss for the function maybe is some cross entropy, that because I recognize the picture. So for say I want to say like whether this face is that person, that will matching. That's what we even use. So I do a matching for them. I have to use entropy. So 0 means not match, 1 means match. But they will get a lot of data to see whether the model can give me a pure classification. Whether the model is confident enough to do that. So I use some loss function. Or maybe for a model can understand. So if you get some data like this, if you stay in a 3 dimension, and you get a lot of points. You want to so this is x, this is y. You want to set the model to predict to give the x to predict y. Okay. So if you use a line, okay, to do that. So how about this one will? How about this line works? So we need to adjust that line.
So like the line is gradient.
Okay.
Then how do you? Which one is the we're just talking about.
This one is not the neural network case. Neural network. Neural network does something like that. So I give it x, this and that. It's gonna come up. But for so these are the weights. These are the hidden layers. So, but this one will not act as a line because a line is like y equals to dx. So it's not a one-way loop. So if I use a neural network, the weights will. So I use this one just to show like how gradient descent works. So if I say the whole thing, the model, if I say the model is like this, so model is like I give an input, I come output. Right? So x equals to y. This is the model. And this one is the data I have. So how the model works, I need to do something just. So I use a loss function, maybe I use this square value to just the model. And then we can get the loss function like something like that. Right? And gradient descent means from some point we get the gradient of the loss function. That's for the linear one. For linear one, this will always be that. So this will be linear will be the loss function for this model. For machine learning model, is sometimes it's not two-dimensional. Some of the loss function may be in the hyperspace. So maybe something like that. Maybe it's a three-dimensional in four-dimensional. So at that time, we need to do the differentiation for the input. So that's how you get the gradient descent. And then the idea for that one is you step on that loss function, you step on that state. So the point on the loss function is the current input. So it's the current state of you, and y is the loss function. Y is the loss. What you want to do? You want to reduce the loss. The loss is smaller, that means the model is better. So you step at that point, you see which way has a lower gradient, and then go to that way. So that's the gradient descent. It's somehow like you stand here, you see which one is lower, you'll step to that one. Okay. So for the 2D dimension will be easy for many times. Okay, it didn't get the graph for the hyperdimensional, but for sometimes there are some local minimums. You trap in some states, you cannot go to the actual minimum you want.
One thing I see for the graph that looks like a mountain range.
Yes.
Then it's like you go to one thing, but then it's not the lowest.
Yes. So that one is the local minimum. So you will trap inside the market. So
that means you can't get the best.
That means we need to use some other methods to improve the gradient descent, or use other optimal methods. Gradient descent is the most basic of the method. How to say the simplest one? The one you just need to do the differentiation for the loss function. You can see the gradient, and then you can just change the weight based on the gradient. And then we come back to the neural network. So for neural network, there are different layers. So if you remember the diagram, there's an input, right? A layer for input. So that one is like collect the information, collect the data, and then I will go to multiple layers and go to the output. Right? But there are still a lot of neural networks we can use. So different neural networks we get different inner layers, we get different number of layers and different structure. The most easy neural network is all the things with the normal layers. So it's some diagram like this one. So this is the easiest one. You just get the input, you multiply with the base and pass to the next layer. Then you pass to this new one. And even a simplest one can be. Oh, this one. So one node for input, one node for hidden. Just one node input, no hidden. That's still in the network. Okay, so in Keras, there are some names for the different layers. So like these normal layers, for the input layer, use normal layers, just connect the different layers. This one's called a dense layer. And there are some other layers like this one. You say cycle, right? There's some hidden structure inside that one. The one is so this part is the LSTM layer, there's the RNN layer. So how layout works actually is a bit complex. There are a lot of papers to study how the layer works. And for this mission control, because that was automatic scope, it will just let you know a few of layers and how you combine, how you place the layers. But I will not touch into how layer inside works. Okay. Okay. So different layers decide the different structure for the unit network. And for the simple problem, generally we just put a test like input layer, that's layer, and then that's layer for the output. So that's all the test layers, that's the simplest one. And then for RNN is generally for translation, for text representation, text classification, or text generation. Again, the long sequence of that's word. That one you generally use the RNN. And for CN, that one you will use for the image, for visual representation, but it's not fixed. Sometimes you still use CNN for the text. But this one just the common ways to do some of those. And for problems, we want to use the machine learning inside that. We get generally basically there are two different problems. One is called a regression problem. It's that we give a value, see, we want to generate another value. And to get the values, there's no limit of values. Another one is the classification. So we get the text. We're gonna see whether it's positive or negative. Get the sentence. We get a message from a human. See whether it's angry or happy or something. And classification just like categorize the input. So we put that one to push output. Regression is generate the value like that one. So y equal to something x. Then we give x or give y. Okay. Okay. And we focus on the classification problem in this mission control. And the tools we have is the TensorFlow and errors. The one will be what we use. You will all have installed this one, right? Okay. You have the Jupyter, right? Have you installed the Jupyter? Yes. Okay. I think maybe you can open the Jupyter. So how do you install the work? Is that a problem? Is that a new problem?
So there's one navigator, then there's one. But also one running that.
Yeah. So if you install Jupyter Notebook, just type Jupyter Notebook. That one will open it. That one will open actually a website. You type the command in a terminal inside the folder. That one will open a website with all the information. But I recommend you to create a test folder and then run the Jupyter.
Also something like this.
Yes. Maybe you can do a demo here.
Yeah.
So with something like that. The time you do the Jupyter is something like that. Going to a test folder. Like you check it.
Just create a new notebook.
It's okay. Just I recommend you to go to create a new test folder because I think I need to store some things, store some folders. KDA. CD test folder. Open. Okay. And create a new notebook. Okay. Okay, you create a new notebook with platform 3. Okay. We will use Keras sequence model. Okay. So I go through the procedures first, and then I will go through the code. Okay. So first, if I want to build the model, you need to create a model. Because we use Keras sequence model, we just create a sequence model. Sorry. With some commands. And layers, there are different layers. At the time we touch the layers, I will talk about what's the use for those layers. Okay. Test layer is the most simplest layer. Embedding layer usually purely for the mapping the text to another vector. CNN layer just used for CNN model, RNN used for RNN model. Dropper layer is used for reduce overfittings. Okay, we go step by step. So first, check the TensorFlow version on your notebook. So import TensorFlow, STF. Check the TF version. Control Enter. Control Enter will run the. Or you can click the run here. Click the run on the top on the toolbar.
You can't make a new notebook. Just press new again.
Compare to the.
Oh, see now.
What the close? Import TensorFlow and try the versions. Right. That one tries the installation of TensorFlow.
I think this is an error. Like, is it like whatever? This is already not found.
It's not installed.
So what installed in Jupyter?
It's not installed in the folder you are using. So if you are using the Anaconda or Miniconda, go to the folder you open Jupyter. You open Jupyter. You try the Conda list. You type Conda list. Because I'm using the Jupyter in the remote server. Yeah. So. It's not Sunfire, it's another remote server. Okay. So you type the corner list. Corner list will show all the packages you install in that virtual environment. See whether I get info. And you can just, if you get Python, can just type you just try pip first, whether you install this one. Okay. Type this first. want to get something, you can type pip dash capital V to see the version and the installation of pip.
Just now you type your what do you do just now? You see, it's an example. Okay, well, the same as you. But you know it's not Jupyter, right? You just have on that.
Yeah. So make sure you do all the things in the virtual environment. And then type install TensorFlow equal 1.13.1.
Just like the close this
Use this one to install the TensorFlow if you do not have it. Okay. You need to go to another step. Okay.
space station.
We need to use some of the data because we want to build a model. In the instruction I said I want to build a model for movie reviews. And for movie reviews, there's an online data set from the campus. It's called the MDB. So we need to load the data from the MDB server. Okay. So okay. We import the Kairos from TensorFlow. From Kairos, import TensorFlow. And then from Kairos, we import the MDB server, MDB dataset. Because the MDB dataset, they encode all the reviews with index. So we need to set the number of the top words we want to use. So we can set to be 10,000. Okay. So follow the instructions here. Okay. And then we can get the training data and the test data. Training data is for us to train the model, test data is for us to evaluate the model. Okay. So you can see the training data here. You can see it's all encoded by the index. Okay. And then we create a sequence model. This one will create a sequence model. Okay. So this one will create a model. Okay. No error, right?
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I never put TensorFlow inside. You say which directory should we access it from? Is it in the command-tree directory? Is it like something like that?
Directory doesn't. Because the time you enable the Honda environment, that one will just import all the packages.
So like I do install TensorFlow. I installed it. I was running in the TensorFlow CPU. I bought these steps. They managed to go.
Activate it.
So I must activate this.
Yes, you must activate the virtual.
So activate TensorFlow CPU. Then I just run.
So this one will help you to build the model, and then you can track the model.
So why start a Python interpreter? Why use Jupyter?
Sorry?
Why open Python's interpreter on Jupyter? What was I activate the session? And why start Jupyter? Yeah, I activate TensorFlow. After that, do I use Python?
And then we add a test layer into that one. Do we add some layers into the model?
But mine is like, they say Jupyter not recognized. No, I don't know that. So I do. How do you start? Is it full? Okay.
Remember to do the thing in virtual environment and install all the packages we have. Okay. So for the data we get, we first build a embedding layer. What is a embedding layer? Embedding layer means I map the data, I map the text I have to another dimension. And why do we do that? Because for the words, let's say man and woman, and for boy and girl. So the difference between man and woman is maybe like, let's say 1 is man, 2 is woman, 3 is there's something like let's say man means woman. And then car. So if I encode something like this, the difference between man and woman and the man and car and woman and car, they're all the same. But actually for the text, they're not the same. So embedding means I put, instead of use this one, we map all things to vectors and to another dimension of vectors. And those vectors, we will put the text with a closer meaning to closer. So the difference between those texts will be closer. So that's used for embedding. And that was very useful in the time you handle the text data. Okay. And for Keras embedding layer, we need the first one is the number of the vocab. So in input dimension. So that one we use the number of the vocabs. So time we load the data, we set the number of the words. So that means how many vocab we use inside the data. Okay. And this one is the dimension we use for the embedding. So this one we embed the text to a 32-dimension vector. Okay. And then we can also set the input length 256. And then we can just let the input length to be. This one is not compulsory. it's not always necessary to put the input loss, but for the to make that one simple, we just set the input loss to be 256. Okay. Embedding layer, we will not do the processing, they just map the text to another vector. But embedding layer initially, because that one is not trained before, so that one layer is empty. So the mapping is maybe random or something. So we need to train the embedding layer in the time we train the model. Okay. After the embedding, we add a dense layer. Sorry. After the embedding, we flatten the layer because we want the embedding to put our dense layer. But because dense layer only support one input, so each node get one input. But for embedding layer, they want to expand whole thing to a vector. Right? So you need to expand the vector to match all the input we get for the embedding layer. Oh, sorry, for the dense layer. So you need to add a flatten. So after that, we get a flatten layer. So we flat the thing to one dimensional, and then we put them to a dense layer. And inside the dense layer, we need to set the nodes and set the activation function. Okay. So we set the nodes to be 256 maybe. We set the activation function. We set that one to ReLU. ReLU is a function, which is one of the activation function. Okay. How to choose the activation function? Actually, there are studies on that. So different data we need to choose different activation functions. But generally, for the dense layer, we can just put ReLU. That's the most basic one. Use this one as a baseline. Okay. And after that put, so the model shape will like something like this. Oops. So this is the dense layer. Okay. We get the input from the flatten. We get the input from the flatten layer. We pass all the thing to the dense layer. Okay. There are all of the connections to the other dense layers. And the weight, initial weight is random set by the carriers. Okay. And after this one, what do we want to do? We want to say whether the moving reveal is positive or negative, right? So that's only one thing, right? Whether 0 or 1. Right? That's the most basic classification. It's a binary classification. It's either 0 or 1. So what do we need? We need only one node. Right? Because we only need to know whether it's 0 or 1. Right? So you put all things to one node. So that's the output layer. We add a dense layer with one node. With the activation function to be sigmoid. Sigmoid is a function from 0 to 1. That one is a shape like this. So sigmoid is a mapping from 0 to 1, from the negative to the infinity. Okay. So we use that one as our output layer. After all the models, TensorFlow need to compile the model. Okay. So we finish the layer part. The time we compile the model, we need three things. That's a basic thing we need. The optimizer. Optimizer is the how do we want to optimize the function. Generally, we use the ADAM for optimizer. There are some reasons here, but lot of studies, there are a lot of measures. You can choose that one if you are interested. You can study like what's the difference between different models. But normally, if it's a simple model, common model, you can just use it. Okay. And loss function, because the movie review, we want the output to be 0 or 1. So we use binary entropy to as the loss function. So the binary entropy is like we classify as 0 or 1, whether you say confidence or 1 or like even if. Right? So even if it's not good because there is model cannot make a decision, right? If it's all 0 or 1, then it's good. Right? Want to reduce the entropy to that. Okay, and matrix is something to monitor the behavior of the model. That one can be shown at the time between the model. Okay. Oh, I get the thing here. This one is the loss function. So in some other dimension, this one is a 3D-dimensional function. So it's more complex than the 2D one. 4D here. So 4D is not easy to draw or show on the screen. Probably can be calculated based on math. But it's not easy to be shown visibly. Okay. So we build a model, compile the model. Oops. We set the optimizer. We set the loss. And then we set the matrix. Okay. That's how we compile the model.
Just try to import the embarking system.
Okay. If you cannot import the MDB, use pip install numpy numpy equal 1.16.1. Because 1.16.4 of numpy get some issue with the input. So need to downgrade the version for.
What version of it? Yes. What version of NumPy do I?
1.16.1. Oh, there's something wrong. This one, the time that one run the model will get error. Because that one cannot recognize what's the. If you use Jupyter, the time if you type something, you can just use tab to autofill the keywords. In that case, autofill the keywords means you will not be tagged.
So must downgrade NumPy.
Yeah, it's okay. It is long. Just install another version.
space.
Okay, tap the command on the bottom. This one, if you get error, is the Keras data set.
So they say I uninstall.
Yes.
This then after that error. So I also put a new one. Okay, so this one.
Okay. So after model is compiled, I think we should be able to see the model. Okay. So after we compile the model, next step will be we feed the model with some data. Okay. Okay. And the time we feed the data, there are some things, some options we can get inside that one. There are some I cannot use here. So first is the validation data. Validation data is not like the test data, but it's different because that one is used in the training time. So that one is to monitor how model works on anode data. So that means the whole training data has set something for the validation. I will not use the validation data to train the model. And then I will use the validation data to see what's the accuracy on the validation. So maybe sometimes overfitting happens, that means model will work very well on the training data, but not well on the other data.
So that validation data is the best whether your model.
Yes. But that one is just for your information. If you want to say if the validation data is accuracy of validation is getting lower, you can stop the model. There are some callbacks, but things I can read from the we will not count that one in this situation. Only it will be and also epochs. Epochs means the time you go through all the data is called one epoch. It's not one batch. It's not one batch of data. So the whole data set, maybe you get different multiple batches. The time you go through all the data set is called one epoch. Okay? Batch and step. Batch is the time you use the whole batch data to train the model. So after the whole data is finished, I will modify the fit based on that one. Okay? And for the step means sometimes it's called a batch per step. So you set by batch per step, that means how many batches you run can declare a default. Default is you need to run all the batches. That means one epoch is finished. But sometimes maybe I just want to run 3 or 4 epochs. 3 or 4 batches. So just say that batch is just 4. You can just run 4. Then no need to run all the batches. Verbals is the information you show. Information you want to see in time. If I say verbals should be 0, that means I see nothing. Verbals should be 1, there will be a purpose bar to signal the training process. Okay. We feed the data.
So let's scroll up.
Okay. We feed the data with the train data and test data. Train data, train label. We set epochs to be 3. There's some option which is called validation split. That means I split how many percent of the training data to be validation data. Okay, we can set this one to be 0.1. Batch size. The default batch size is 32. We set that one to be 128. Okay. And verbals default is will be show the information, so you can choose to set or do not set. Okay. So if you run a feed, you can see some error. If you run something here, you can see some error. Right? That's a reason. That's a reason because the event layer need to put the data with the sync log. So need to pre-process the data. Okay. I think just copy the code from the previous one. Quick. This one is process the data. This one will pack the data which is not enough. Will truncate the data which is too long. And I set the long to be 256. Padding to post means I pad all the thing to I pad all the zeros to the end of the data. Should be okay. Still error. Let's see. Train data, train label, test it, test label, process, stop. Why there's an error here? Oh, okay, sure. Let me feed the data. See something. Yeah. There's an error. So, you can try to feed the data.
It's not like football. It's not football yet. Still on. So you can scroll a bit. Like after I enter all the models, then I need to run. I don't compile yet. I think so I type as model _ 0 source.
No, just use a model. Untitled 3 get some issue. I'm not sure what's the reason. Sorry?
Like the number in the summary is always different, right?
Oh, no. This one gets some error. I'm not sure what's the reason. Is there anything I read wrong?
Yeah.
What is? Okay, something wrong. And sometimes the show gets error, then come back and fix it.
So after I do the summary, I can compile model. After I do model the summary, I can build model.
I don't do model summary actually. Not summary just to see what's inside the model. So if you type model.summary, then you'll see the architecture of the model, you'll see the structure of the model. So model here, first for embedding, there are because I set the input long, so that one will ask you to input a 256 long data. Because I need to use a flatten, so if I use a flatten, input long is already set. Otherwise, that one cannot flatten. And also I put the best layout. This one, this number of the nodes is 256, and the last test layer is 1.
So that's called a given. But actually, the last dense layer is like it's not the output layer.
It's the output layer. So if I show the
everything comes out, then the last dense layer is output.
Yeah. So this one will get a value here. And value here I pass to the sigmoid function. So if this one will pass to a sigmoid function and then give a result. So all the data here will pass a so like here. Get the data and then pass to this function and give the result. So can you see the result? So the result of model feed. So I feed the training data, feed the training label, and this one you can see the accuracy here. Accuracy on the on the validation accuracy. So what do you found on the thing here? Actually you can find like accuracy is not very high, right? 89%. Right? But validation accuracy is 85%. Why? Why the validation accuracy is smaller than the training accuracy? This one is a training accuracy, it's a training loss.
This cell data not exactly the same as the training.
Yeah, but is that normal or is that maybe something? Should be something like that.
Yeah,
but is that good? You see the validation accuracy is get lower, right? Yeah. Training accuracy is get higher, right? Training accuracy means you use the data to train the whole thing, and then you see what's the accuracy for the data used for training. So model will fit the pattern of the training data. But sometimes, if you fit that one too much, that means the model is too specific for those data. It's not general enough. Validation data is some data that one is not used for training. Right? So if you see validation data is keep decreasing, that means that's overfitting. So you need to stop the validation. You want to split from the training data at the start of the training. So you divide the so I reserve some data for validation. I will not use this data for training. Yeah. I use others for training and use the result one for validation. So test whether it is the general. Yes. Okay. And then you can use the evaluation. to evaluate the data, to evaluate the model you have. Okay, so you can set the evaluate with the test data test label. Default batch for testing is 32. Okay, default batch test for test for validation evaluation is 32. You can see the accuracy for testing is 85%.
So actually that means the more times you run model it's like the more times you're training.
More time you're training generally will give you a better accuracy for training data. But doesn't mean more apples you have, doesn't mean better for model, because you put the training data too much, that means I will try to find the data. It's not general. So for other data, for testing data, for the data you have never seen, it's not good. Okay, this is the most easier way to build a movie review presentation for that one. Okay, another, and how can we improve this one? So let's layer. I introduced them to you already, right? I get all the data here, right? So each data will, if I input a list, I'll get all the things here, and then I put that one to with the weights and pass that one to the layers, and after the activation function, I pass that one to the final output, and then calculate the value with the activation, and then give the output, right? So what do I not consider? What things I ignore in the thing? So think about one thing is the order methods.
The order which indices the nodes.
Sorry?
Is it the order in which it indices the nodes in the table?
Yes. Order method. So these are methods, right?
Yeah.
So that means different ways different nodes connect to the other nodes by different ways, right? But imagine a sequence. I go to school this morning, and this morning I go to school. Is there any difference? Yeah. Because that one, remember that the first one is get some ways, second one get some ways, third one get some ways, but the ways with the data I have to the another layer. Okay. But sometimes we need to consider the image before. Right? Sometimes we need to the image afterwards. We need to accumulate all the information from the start and make the decision. Right? So that one we introduce the RNN. The current neural network is like something it get input to the nodes, and then usually it's a long sequence. So the time I get the next words, I will use the data from the next words, and I will use the information from the previous one. So I will keep getting accumulate the states, accumulate the information from the previous, and to do the process.
So means that there's one layer, then I process, then I'll still keep the information for the next week.
Recurrent neural network actually is there are something here. It's mine. Yeah. There's something here. So inside of nodes just point to that, they will point to the other nodes. That's called recurrent.
So like when the previous layer goes to the current layer, you'll still keep the current layer's data.
What do you mean by?
And normally like once it goes through one pass, you just like go out of the system. This one keeps like all the passes inside the layers.
From one data, from one sequence, but not sequence with others.
Or like no, just one batch, is it?
Actually just one data.
Or like one read.
One review. The one we consider the relations between previous review and this one. So that one is commonly used it's a bit complex than this layer, and that is commonly used in the text visualization or text generation. And other than that, a lot of things like GRU, LSTM, long-short memory. We will use LSTM to do another model, but it's not guaranteed to be better than the current model because a more complex model means better. So it means like I need to analyze more things, it adjust more variables, more means, then train more things. So that's just like do something plus to the next one with the activation function. But LSTM, there are some inter variables inside LSTM there. So need to say like how much data I can keep from the previous one, when should I forget, when should I remember. So there are a lot of things we need to consider. So it's more complex. And complex doesn't mean better. So maybe I can get a better result, maybe cannot. Okay. So let's build a one with a LSTM. So you can just copy the code from the previous. So from create a model, you can copy all the code and then you can modify it. Okay. We still need the embedding because still the text data. Okay. You need to add all the layers. We still create a sequential model. Okay. The simple model is a sequential model. There are another one called a functional model. Sequential model means that passing layer by layer sequential. Okay. Just copy the code. I will copy the code from the previous because no time for doing all the things now. Okay, I will expand the thing here. I will expand the code here. First, still create model, and then I select embedding layer. Then LSTM, you don't need to have a embedding layer because it doesn't like the test layer. That one you get all the sequence to pass to the LSTM layer. Okay. Oh, I should not keep the job pod. Sorry. Command all the job pod. LSTM is Terra's representable holding with a API because layers.lstm and 70 there means the number of the nodes in LSTM layer. There are also studies on how to set the nodes for that. I will talk about that for tuning. The time we tune the data, we set our 70 first. Okay. Also, activation is sigmod. You can just tap sigmod, you need to tf.n or something. There are different ways to talk the sigmod activation. Okay, but do the same thing. This one just get from the flow, but you can just do the same thing as what we have done just now. Just type sigmod. Okay, you can copy the model, and then we still need to process is do the model compile. Next one is what? Ready? So after you, okay. So this part is what? This part is to build model, right? Yeah, model fit. This one compile is required by the model. You need to compile the model, build the graph for the model, and then you train the model, right? Train with a fit, right? So you pass in the values. So you, like what we do previously. Just copy the whole thing. Okay. But generally, LSTM needs to be trained sometimes LCM differentiation longer before 10 networks. But that one is much slower than this layer. The training process will be long. Okay, so just run that one again. Oh, sorry. Remember, it's model 1, not model. If you have model level, train with that's the version. Everyone grows slowly. Like that's the players fast. Run something for that. I need to. I never thought about that. Okay, I will not keep going because seems that one will die if I keep training that one. And that's all the problem. So this one is a training for LSTM. You can compare the result with LSTM and STM. But I recommend you to set more epochs for LSTM. So set to be 10 maybe, and set also the dense for 10. You can compare the data. Okay.
So after epochs,
this is 64. 1, 8. Long and okay, next one is analysis. Okay, so just now we see there are overfitting, right? So accuracy for training data very high, but for other data it's not that high as training data. Okay, so that one is overfitting, and we can use the loss to see how model works. Accuracy generally is the most common way we see how the model works. Okay, overfitting means you fit more to the training, but not general enough. Just like that. This one is overfitting. There are some noise data maybe there, so no need to fit for the noise data. Okay. Save a lot. Save model is quite simple. Just you can save the whole model, you can save the weights. Load save. Okay. For the commands, you can fork on TensorFlow. I will not go to that one now. Okay. Next one is turn the data. Just now you set those batch size, how to type the data. Okay, right? The number of the nodes in the layers, and the input dimension, embedding dimension. Those are hyperparameters. Okay, so those are parameters will influence the result of the model. And how to adjust to make the model better. That's the process for tuning. So tuning, there are a lot of studies on how to make the model better. But for us, I think we can just try some of the common values, or we can go online to search for what's the models they use to build this kind of model, and then we can copy the hyperparameters for our own model. Okay. So if you get time, you can just train the model and then see the result, and then try to tune some parameters, and then train again to see the result. Deploy. If you are using Android iOS app development, you can use a TensorFlow lab to use a TensorFlow in the app. For web, you can use the TensorFlow serving. TensorFlow serving is a server, hosts the model, and then you send a request to the server and then get the result back. TensorFlow.js is the version of JS, the JavaScript. And how to use the model in the project? First, we need to think more like what is the why do you need machine learning in your project? If we just build a easy thing, just build a web application, just allow people to do that one, we do not want to input that one further. We do not need the machine learning, right? So machine learning, when we see a role that machine learning can work, and that one, we need that one to make the whole app better. So let's say we want to do recommendation system. We want to analyze the people, how people will choose the items, how people will choose maybe activities they want to know. Like those things, we can see a role for the machine learning. At the time, we can use machine learning. If you do not know why you use that, you just want to use machine learning, you can use that one for try something else, but do not put that one in your project. There's no purpose. Then, so only use machine learning when there's a purpose to do that. And the thing to consider is that if you are using machine learning, you need to know what is the data I have, what is the user I have, what data can I have, and do you get enough data? If you just get 100,000 data, meaningless to do machine learning, you cannot learn something. If you do not have enough data, how can I get a pattern for the general case? Right? So if you want to use that one, first you need to calculate your data and try to get enough data. For some of the data, there are some online data sets, Cargo, Amazon, UCL, and there are Microsoft, Google also they all provide some simple data sets for you. And if those data sets do not have the data you want, you can use Python to do web scraping to grab some data online. Maybe you get some images. You use Python to grab something from the internet, from the Google image, or maybe you get something from you want to use some data from the hospital. Maybe you go to the office website. You use the Python to grab something. But if they said the web is not allowed to do that, not to web scraping. Okay. If they do not allow that, it's illegal. Okay. Those slides will be uploaded in the Slack, so we can use those later. And this is the process. So always process the data first, and then analyze the data first. You need to know what data do you have. You need to find a rough relation with the data, and then you can build a model. If you do not know something, you just try it. Okay? You should find the direction first, and then you find the mapping relation, and then you can build a model. Let's design the model. And just like what we do, we build the best layer first, and then we can see like, oh, how can we put that one? We need to consider the relations. Right? Some of the case, best layer may not work well, so we get LCM, maybe use value, use other things. So that's how we design a model based on the data. So analyze the data is very important. Based on that one, we can design a model, and then we choose the tools. TensorFlow is common. Python has a scikit learning. It's also a REST API, very common. Also common to use. PyTorch is by Microsoft. It's also good for research or project. Last one is train the model. Design model and choose tools to build the model. After that, it's train the model. And then that one include the tuning. How do you train the parameters? How do you set the validations? Maybe some training need 100 hours if possible. I'm not doing an intern. I'm doing this RNN is at sequence to sequence model, and that one I need to train for 10 more hours for one model. It's small scale. The others maybe do 60, 100 hours. It's not just like the model we built for several minutes when finish the training. It's not common. It's not that in the real case. Okay. How to integrate that one to the project? Machine learning is just a tool. Unless you want to build some website to cross design all the models, machine learning is just a small part of the model. You consider that one as a black box. So it's a function you have. You pass in the data and you get the result you want. You just post that one somewhere else, like an API. You get the data, you pass through that, you get the result. It's only a very small part in the project. So that one is how you can integrate to the project. And okay, for some useful tools, Jupyter Notebook. I think if you're using Python, you will love that one. In the future, the time you do the things, because Jupyter Notebook allow you to run the code step by step. Right? It's very easy to see which one there's an error. You can add some more codes to see what's running for that one. You can use the pie chart, which one is by IntelliJ. That one is the editing for Python, but that one is huge. Jupyter is very easy, and that one can use Markdown in Jupyter. You can write the commands, write the code, write the code. Docker is some container thing. If you're interested, you can try to have a look at that. That one, the time if you want to use capital serving, deploy the whole thing to pod. Maybe it's good to use Docker. Docker is very good to containerize all the things and deploy them. G-Cloud and Jericho is the platform to deploy the things. SOC clusters. That one, many of you do not know actually, but I will introduce that one to all of you. SOC cluster is open to all SOC students, if I'm not wrong. There are a lot of clusters, not only Zeta is one of them. There are Tabusu clusters. Okay? You can run Jupyter on that and then use SSH to connect to your local host. You can run some heavy code on that cluster if you do not care or 100 hours. Okay? It's very common to do that one with SSH cluster. I think if you get time, I can show you the link. Virtual environment has a combo, Uniconda, and Anaconda is the virtual environment. So that one can create a virtual environment for all the packages. If you have TensorFlow with GPU, with CPU, you need to use Python 2 sometimes. You need to use Python 3 to get different virtual environments. There are different boxes. Open the box for a lot of packages. But different boxes will not influence each other. So that one is very common to use when we want to have multiple projects. Okay. Also, the Git, if you know, you should use that one. It's a version control. I think all of you need to take 213 or 2113. That one, Git is the necessary tool for you. It's compulsory. You need to use that one. Okay. And there are some tutorials online. Let's go to tutorials. The best layout version will be similar as I introduced to you, but I don't think RN with NDB is posted on the. You can see that one. Follow this one, and Cyril is a YouTuber. He get a lot of videos about TensorFlow, good colors, what machine learning. It's very good to view his videos. Okay, it's step by step. You can do that one. Current documentation. Time you get some of the code, you can see. You can go to the current documentation to see how to use that one. Using the meaning of the parameters. Okay, and that's all. Okay, I show the associate clusters. You just search for associate clusters. Go to the resources and labs. So this one, Tabusu cluster. Follow the documentation there and to see how to enable them. You need to enable the NUS cluster first, and then you can use that one. It's all free and it's very good, powerful. Okay. This is not. You just need to log in with your SSH card. You can do that one later. I'm not sure that. Oh, another trick I want to tell you is this one. This is how to set the Jupyter to be remote mode. That means you run Jupyter on the server, but to use Jupyter on a local machine. Okay. So I need to stop the broadcasting first, and then we will tell you how to do this.